Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was a very surprising contest. Like, I legitimately thought that this would be a spot where Justin Fields went through and maybe had a total of 200 passing yards, maybe, just maybe 40 rushing yards, and the Bears managed to lose 7-21. Like, I thought this was not going to be a competitive game at all, and we were right. It wasn't competitive, but in the other way, where the Bears just roll the Patriots. Got a decent amount to talk about with this game, and then I'm going to go through, then I'm going to talk about a lot of what happened on Sunday and answer all your fantasy football questions, of course. So please, if you're coming in, drop a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed and you play fantasy football. And I'm going to answer a million questions in this live stream, but I'll probably keep this up as a video later on. So if you have any questions, you can drop them down there in that comment section and I'll try to get to them, but we got to focus in on this stream. And thank you for everybody who's out here in this live stream with us. Dear God, just pulled up this live chat. We have over 300 people here. Thank you so much for everybody coming out and hanging out with us here. Let me set this to subscriber only for the chats. Let me send a little poll here to make sure that people know to drop a like on the live stream when they come in. And also, of course, if you want to check out any of these player props on Underdog Fantasy, they're way more than this. I need to go ahead and update this right now. Make sure you go to the link in the comment section, the link in the live chat, the link in the description. Sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, and they will match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. So before we dive into all the questions that we have, specifically, I'd imagine a lot about what happens this weekend. First, let's look at what happened in today's game. Justin Fields, 82 rushing yards, the rushing touchdown to go along with it. David Montgomery, 15 carries, 62 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown. I am honestly, as a David Montgomery owner, a little more pessimistic about Montgomery going forward based on this contest. Now, I know it's hard to take too much away from this. It's hard to take too much away from the usage between Montgomery and Khalil Herbert, given the context of this game being a blowout. But Khalil Herbert sees 12 carries. He was the guy in the red zone. I mean, not even in the red zone. He scored the receiving touchdown and that screen pass 25 yards out early in the game. So it is a little frustrating still based off the cap ceiling that you have with the passing volume in Chicago. You'll never be able to start any Chicago Bears pass catcher. But what I'm going to look at is on the New England Patriots side, where Ramondre Stevenson sees the 11 carries compared to Damian Harris at 3. Ramondre sees 8 receptions. Ramondre Stevenson, 8 receptions out of only 17 completed passes by the New England Patriots. Don't know if this has to do with just the inability of these New England quarterbacks to actually effectively push the ball down the field. I don't know if it's Ramondre's this good of a pass catcher, but it is a very interesting spot. Tyquan Thornton looks like if New England's only going to throw the ball for 200 passing yards a game going forward, probably not someone we can roster, probably not someone we can get too excited about if you have both Jacoby Myers and Devontae Parker getting volume. But I think that should be it about with what we need to look at in this game in particular. Let me go ahead. Let me dive into the questions that we have about this weekend. You know, we'll be live here for a couple hours answering as many of these questions as I possibly can. Tom is coming out with a massive one. Thank you so much, my man. Says, Mason, I need your help. I lost Brees, and I owe everyone a pretty big apology. I mean, I'd imagine that every single person watching this live stream, or at least 50% of the people in this live stream right now, have Brees Hall. Can you please let me know in the chat? Can we see how many people have Brees Hall watching this stream? Everybody go to the live chat right now. And if you have Brees Hall, just say, I have Brees Hall. And I want to see how many messages we get. We have about 750 people watching this live stream. And also, come on, if you have not already, go down there and drop a like on the stream. We have 750 of y'all watching and only 200 likes. And yeah, it looks like a ton of people. Yeah, a ton of people watching this have Brees Hall. So I'd imagine that a lot of y'all have Breece Hall because I said to trade for him. So I am sorry for advocating for Breece Hall so much, and I promise you, if I knew this would have happened, I would have never done it. Trust me, if I had a perfect crystal ball that I could look into, I would have never told you to draft Breece. But Thomas says, Mason, we need your help. We have Breece, 10-team PBR format, with also Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, T. Higgins, Hollywood, Olave, Kirk, CMC, Singletary, Henderson, Dobbins, Kelsey. So we had Dobbins as well. Should I try to make a trade or ride with Singletary and Henderson as of now for our running back too? You definitely should make a trade because, I mean, hell, you have Kelsey, you have the elite tight end. And at quarterback, when you have Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa, my opinion, I think that you can roll with Jalen Hurts as an every week starter going forward, regardless of the matchup. And since he's already gone through his bye, I don't even want to have a second quarterback on this roster. So if we could go through and look to package Tua Tagovailoa in a trade with Devin Singletary and go get a running back upgrade that way, I would be very excited about that. I'm sure that there's going to be a team in your league that's willing to trade for Tua. Especially this week, you should have a very good spot going up against the Detroit Lions. But Cameron says Ramondre or James Robinson rest of season. You got to go Ramondre rest of season. Not thinking about that for a second. Ramondre just had 8 receptions. Ho says give Ramondre and Tyreek for CeeDee Lamb and Alvin Kamara. Yeah, well, CeeDee Lamb's slightly below Tyreek Hill for me, but I would easily rather have Kamara over Ramondre. Let's go get CeeDee Lamb and Alvin Kamara. Jacob says, would you trade Barkley for Walker and Stevenson in a non-PPR format? Probably not. In a non-PPR league, I don't think you can get that excited about Ramondre Stevenson. Obviously, Kenneth Walker crushing it. Kenneth Walker, my second most drafted running back this season, which I am very excited about, but he's not Saquon Barkley. He's not close to being Saquon Barkley. And really quick, we are 4 likes away. Actually, now only 2 likes away from hitting 300 likes in the live stream. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the live stream for us. It does help us out a ton. Now, our next search coming out from Jacob says, Martin says 5-2, 12-team PBRs, start 2 receivers, 2 running backs, tight end, double flex. We have Lamar, CMC, ETN, Jamal, Brian Robinson, Eno, Pacheco, Pittman, Lamb, Rondell, Wilson, Andrews, Taysom. Any suggestions? I think if you have Mark Andrews, yes, he had a total of 0 points this past week, which I'm no mathematician, but I think it's probably not a great thing. Probably want more than 0 points. Still, I am viewing him as a must-start guy every single week going forward. His knee injury was clearly bothering him. He only had 1 practice going into the week. I think going forward, he will be in a much better spot. And if we are trying to project out Mark Andrews as an every week starter, I think that Taysom Hill is someone that's very expendable on this roster, especially if we look at the context of Taysom Hill, where he has been very good, but at the same time, the context behind Taysom Hill's emergence has been the Jameis Winston injury, the Michael Thomas injury, the Jarvis Landry injury, where I think once we start getting some of these players back in New Orleans, Taysom Hill's going to be less and less involved here. So I would love to package Taysom Hill and then a wide receiver like Rondell Moore and see if we can go get an upgrade. Now, Dylan says trade trade Month. Who's Month? Is this Pat Frymuth for Godwin and Claypool? Yeah, we can trade Pat Frymuth for Godwin and Claypool. Hell yeah. Now, Kevin says Waddle or Debo PPR rest of season. So before the CMC trade, I had Jalen Waddle ranked ahead of Debo Samuel rest of season. And 100% after the Christian McCaffrey trade, yeah, easily prefer Jalen Waddle over CMC. And then also Dameon Pierce for Travis Etienne. Full PPR format, give me Travis Etienne over Dameon Pierce. Now, Tyler Dew says 3-4 in a 10-team PPR league where we have Eckler, Henry, Mostert, Adams, Pittman, Keenan, Kirk, Wandale, and Tyler Higbee. Stashing Watson this week, I replace Brady with Jones weeks 8 through 12. Personally, I don't think so. I think when you first get the opportunity to play Daniel Jones in a great matchup, I believe he's going up against Seattle this week. If you wanted to play Daniel Jones against the Seattle Seahawks over Tom Brady in a 4-point pass and touchdown format where obviously Daniel Jones has some very important rushing upside, then sure. But in the long term, while I agree, Tom Brady does not look good at all. I think in reality, you're probably going to want to go ahead, still play Brady from a fantasy football perspective, just because the passing volume is there, even if he doesn't look good as a real life quarterback. Percy White, always happy to see you out here, says, traded Chubb for ETN and CeeDee Lamb in a PBR format. Other running back is Jonathan Taylor. Hell, if we're getting CeeDee Lamb and Nick Chubb, great deal. If we're getting CeeDee Lamb and Nick Chubb in a full PBR format, CeeDee Lamb and Travis Etienne, yes, I do really like it. But Sal coming out says, hey man, lost 3 in a row, and Brees going down crushed me. Lamar, Terry for Herbert and Etienne, is this a good deal? So Herbert's already through his bye. I really don't want to be trading away Lamar Jackson right now. If you look at Lamar Jackson through the first 3 weeks this season, the man actually averaged 4 touchdowns a game. Over the past 4 weeks this season, he's had 3 total touchdowns. I think that you probably have a happy medium between these two extremes. You had the Rashad Bateman injury earlier on. You had Mark Andrews injured this week. Don't like trading Lamar Jackson, but if you're telling me you're desperate at running back and can't find anybody off the waiver wire, it's a fair price. But now real quick, we are 1 like away from hitting 400 likes in the stream. So please, if you have not done so yet, go down there, drop a like on the live stream. Help us get to 400. And Jose says, trade ETN for AJ Brown. We're loaded at running back. If you have like 3 or 4 flex spots where you think you can go through and just jam in as many high upside wide receivers on a week-to-week basis and crush your league mates that way, then sure. In reality, I don't know. It'd be very difficult to move off of ETN at this point. Now, Joe says, hey, Mason, I'm 3 and 4, and we have Saquon, Swift, Smith, Judy, AJ Brown, Boyd Jamison in the bench. Should I trade AJ for either Alvin Kamara, Kenneth Walker, or Joe Mixon? So honestly, we don't need running back production here if we have Saquon and DeAndre Swift. AJ Brown for Joe Mixon, honestly, is not going to be that bad of a deal. I think I would be fine making it. I just don't want to act like it's some massive smash. Keep in mind, with AJ Brown as well, this is a player that's gone through his bye. So with those guys that have already gone through their bye, I think if it's close enough, we kind of have to be giving them the tie break in that you get the extra game out of them. So I don't know, maybe we keep AJ Brown. Holo Brown coming out, thank you, says, team is Kyler, Jefferson, Hopkins, Diggs, Judy, Saquon, Brees, Hunt, Dobbins, Gibson, Pitts, Schultz. Should I flip Diggs for ETN and Amon-Ra St. Brown? We're 7-0 in a 12-team PBR format. Yes, I think I would trade Stephon Diggs for Travis Etienne and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Very difficult, as Stephon Diggs is the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy football right now. So, I mean, obviously, if we're trading Stephon Diggs away, we need to go through and we need to get a king's ransom. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown and Travis Etienne is probably a pretty good package. And the main reason I'm telling you to do this is you're in a spot where you just lost Brees Hall. So, yes, the team's great, but you lost Dobbins to injury. You lost Brees Hall to injury. So, while we're 7-0, in reality, we are going to be dealing with some serious running back injuries where we don't have a lot of depth, and ETN will kind of save the day here. So I would be fine with it. And now going over to our next donor. Actually, let me catch up on some massive $20 donations we have, and then we'll go right back to where we were. But before we read these, you can probably tell on the screen, I am legitimately sweating. So you got to give me 1 second. Please, I swear to God, if you leave as I just step away from this desk for 1 second to turn on that fan, I'll be pissed. Give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Let's catch up on these massive $20 donos, and then we will go right back to where we were with a Bobcat. So first one coming out from, I believe, Rich. Thank you, my man, says, Mason, thanks as always. Happy BR just traded Debo, Pierce, and Everett for Diggs and Adam Thielen. Did I win? We have Eckler, Chubb, Walker, running back. Okay, so we have Eckler, Chubb, Walker, running back. Dameon Pierce wasn't doing much. Dameon Pierce was our running back 4. We have Higbee at tight end. I think you probably have Tyler Higbee starting over Everett every single week going forward. So yes, this is the type of trade where I would be willing to go out there and pay up for that elite wide receiver one. Obviously, we just looked at a different roster where it made a little bit more sense to go ahead and to trade away that elite wide receiver one for some running back depth. You just didn't need it. You didn't need Dameon Pierce if he's your running back 4, and Stephon Diggs, like we said, number 1 wide receiver in fantasy. Alice Steyer coming out with a massive dono. Thank you. Says, lost Breece Hall. Try to trade for James Robinson or Herbert, or try to go get Michael Carter. Okay, so if you're telling me you want to trade for, no, don't go about it this way. I know, I mean, if James Robinson, if Michael Carter were going to be coming in and filling 1-for-1 with Breece Hall, then sure, I would love to go ahead and do it. But I see no reason to trade for one of these running backs right now, unless you can get Michael Carter at a massive discount. So with Carter, I had him on our buy low running back video before the James Robinson trade. I went through, made in my opinion, a very good case on why Michael Carter could be a low-end running back 1, a high-end running back 2 in fantasy. Had to end up re-recording the video once we had James Robinson getting moved over. Between these two guys, if you're playing in a full PPR format, I would like to go through and trade for Michael Carter because I think you're going to get him at a discount, and I don't necessarily think James Robinson is more than a low-end running back 2, high-end running back 3 in New York. The move that probably makes a little bit more sense for you, however, is instead of losing Breece Hall and thinking we need to go ahead and we need to do anything we can to trade for the new starting running back for the New York Jets, let's go with the waiver wire. You have a lot of interesting waiver wire running backs this week. Guys like Gus Edwards, Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, obviously, we posted the video this morning. So I think that would probably be a better use of our resources. But really quick, we are 1 like away from hitting 500 likes in the stream. Thank you so much, everyone, for going down there, dropping a like on the live stream. I definitely do appreciate it. Now, our next question coming up for Bobcat says, should I be worried about Mac Jones in a Dynasty Superflex League? Yes. Yes. Bones says, would you trade Devontae and Khalil Herbert for Godwin, Swift, and ETN? Yes, 100% I would. Khalil Herbert, guys, don't think Herbert's startable going forward. I mean, Khalil Herbert looked good. Clearly, this was a split backfield, but I think it's hard to take too much away from the running back usage in this game in particular. I mean, they split the backfield. And while the Bears were phenomenal this week, at the end of the day, it's still the Chicago Bears. Khalil Herbert is still someone you can't start on a week-to-week basis. He is just that handcuff, in my opinion. So Robin says, hey, Mason is giving up Evans and Ramondre for Devontae. Still a good deal. I'd be fine with this if you want to go out there and get that wide receiver upgrade. That guy who's already gone through the bye week. With Ramondre Stevenson, I mean, it looks like he has clearly taken over for Damien Harris. Hard to take too much away from the running back split in this game, however, because you would expect Ramondre Stevenson to be the guy when they're trailing. You'd expect Ramondre, who has the receiving skill set, to be playing at a Damien Harris. And they, I mean, essentially got boat raced this game. Now, Matthew says Pickens over London. I will agree from a redraft perspective. From a redraft perspective, yes. Dynasty, I still probably prefer London. Hudson says trade Najee and Montgomery for Travis Etienne in an 8-team PPR league. 8-team league, we just won the best player in the deal. Yes, let's go ahead and do it. 12-team format with multiple flex spots would be a little bit harder to give out that depth. 8-team league, do it. Courtney says, glad I started DJ Moore. How did the Panthers? The Panthers were literally 13.5-point dogs. The Bucs were favored by 13.5 points, and you still had the Panthers pulling it out. Kudos to you if you started Donta Foreman, if you started DJ Moore. I did not have the stones to do it. I thought that they were clear avoids. I would have never played either guy this week. I don't think in my 30 Dynasty leagues I did play him. But I don't know. I guess we can say any given Sunday. And also, Giselle needs to get back with Brady. Like, what are we doing here? Now, we have a massive dono coming out from Robbie. Thank you as always, my friend. Says, hey, Mason, glad I kept ETN through the first few weeks. Is anyone on the waiver wire a must-add this week, or do we go wait for another league winner? Going to the Commanders-Colts game this week. Hopefully, Heineke balls out. Hopefully, Sam Ellinger balls out, my man. Hook 'em horns. That's what we're rooting for. And if we're looking at the waiver wire this week, I'd say, yeah, you have to go pick up Gus Edwards. I think Gus Edwards, Donta Foreman, those are going to be two guys that need to be rostered. Isaiah Pacheco needs to be rostered if he is somehow available. I mean, with these running backs, I don't necessarily want to say that they're going to be must-start guys every single week. I'm very concerned about the Carolina Panthers offense going forward, even if they got the job done this week. I don't know. I mean, oh, dear God, I didn't even see this. The Panthers are playing the Falcons this week. That is going to be the worst game imaginable. But Jaden says, I've lost Javonte, Patterson, Dobbins, Hollywood, and now Brees. Rest in peace. Should I trade Justin Jefferson or Jamar for DeAndre Hopkins and Kenneth Walker, or should we try to get something better? Nope. I very rarely ever recommend you to go through and trade that best player on your team. Trade away someone like Jefferson. Trade away someone like Jamar Chase. But when you are going to do it, this is the context. You've lost all depth in Javonte, Patterson, Dobbins, and Hollywood, and Brees Hall. You've lost 5 guys. You have no depth on the team. This is sadly the spot where your hand is kind of forced. You have to go through, trade the best player. You have to trade Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. I would prefer to trade Chase between the two for DeAndre Hopkins and Kenneth Walker. I would do that. Now, Jason says, Isaiah Pacheco, Dobbins, Foreman, Algier, Edwards, or Antonio Gibson. Are you saying who do we want on our roster out of these guys? If I had to pick one player out of these guys on our roster, probably would be Donta Foreman, but I am very biased. I mean, Donta Foreman, he did go to the NFL. He did graduate the year before I got to Texas, but I was already committed to Texas. Tommy says, so I'm 5-2, lost Brees Hall for the season. I need running back depth, so I'm thinking of trading Tyler Lockett or Isaiah McKenzie. What tier of running back could I target wise for these players? Thanks, Mason. Thank you, my friend. I mean, you are at two opposite ends of the spectrum with Isaiah McKenzie and Tyler Lockett. Two completely different guys. Don't trade Lockett now with the DK Metcalf entry. I think you're going to have to go through. I think you're going to have to be holding Tyler Lockett. If we wanted to make a move, you're going to be trading Isaiah McKenzie. Go try to get someone like James Cook. Go try to get someone like Rachaad White. Get one of these rookie running backs that have a small passing down role, or at least we're hoping James Cook does going forward. And then obviously have the ceiling if the starter were to go down in front of him. But Levi says, just traded Amari for James Robinson and Tony Pollard. Really hurting at running back after Hall. Will Robinson work as a running back too long term? I don't think so. James Robinson's not going to catch passes. I think we can safely project Michael Carter to be the pass catcher here for the Jets. If Michael Carter's that pass catcher, then I think you have a cap ceiling for Robinson. I don't think he's going to be a safe running back 2 on a week-to-week basis. I think he's going to be a low-end RB2, high-end running back 3 that you can start during the bye weeks if you need to. But I mean, a real difficult spot, in my opinion, to go ahead and trade away Amari Cooper if you held on to him this long before we get Deshaun Watson in. Let's Go says traded Najee for David Montgomery, good or bad? I mean, up to you. I'd probably rather have Najee over David Montgomery. Funny enough, I compared these two guys coming into the season. So many people got very mad at me coming into the year when I said, hell, Najee Harris is not an athletic running back. He's playing in a very bad offense. If I want to draft a subpar athlete just based off of volume in a bad offense, give me David Montgomery. Just 5 rounds later, obviously, I did not think that you would have Khalil Herbert seeing this much involvement in Chicago. So if they're splitting their bad offense 50-50, I would definitely prefer David Montgomery over Najee Harris. Now, real quick, we are 1 like away from hitting 600 likes in the live stream. Looks like half of y'all have dropped a like on the stream. So thank you so much, everybody, for supporting the channel. And if you enjoy these live streams, make sure you go down there, drop a like. I've not missed a day of live streaming in what? Over 100 days? Well over 100 days? But Return to Reason says, Currently 5-2 in an 8-team non-PPR format where we have Barkley, JT, and ETN on the bench. James Robinson, Michael Carter on the waiver wire. Keep in mind, 8-team league, non-PPR. Snag which one or both if possible. Weakest at running back, thanks. In a full PPR format, I think you could go Carter on the waiver wire. In a non-PPR league, I will go James Robinson because I actually may expect James Robinson to be the guy that gets utilized at the goal line. And clearly, touchdown upsides, primarily the thing you care about in a non-PPR format. But Jordan says, I have Jonathan Taylor, Dalvin Cook, Etienne, Najee, Diggs, Waddle, Olave. Should we be making any moves? No, it's like a roster full of my guys. If we were wanting to go ahead and do anything, you're saying you want Derrick Henry because of his playoff schedule. I mean, Chris Olave is maybe, and I repeat, maybe someone we would look to go ahead and see what value we could get. The reason for this is with Olave, you're going to get back Michael Thomas. You're going to get back Jarvis Landry. So it's hard to assume that the target volume is going to be exactly what it has been. But I don't think you have to do anything on this team, my man. I really like it. Now, Zach says, should I trade Montgomery for James Robinson? Hell to the no. We're not doing that. Not in a PPR format. I don't see what would be exciting about James Robinson. What were the official deals on this James Robinson deal? He was literally traded for a 6th-round pick, right? That could be a 5th. Let me double check this. Okay, where are the details? Jets are trading a 6th-round pick that could become a 5th to Jacksonville for James Robinson. Like, this has a massive impact from a fantasy football standpoint in that it turns Travis Etienne into that league-winning player. That Michael Carter is no longer, in my opinion, projecting to be a low-end RB1, high-end RB2. But don't get that excited about James Robinson. Like, I don't think you need to. But D. Daniel, always super happy to see you out here. Thank you so much for the support. My man says, hey, Mason, 12-team PPR format where we have Dak, CMC, Dalvin, Henderson, Tyreek, Brown, Hollywood, Gallup, Samuel, Pitts, and Everett. Currently 5-2. Do I need to make any moves? I feel like I need a better flex, tight end, or running back. Man, I think we said this last week, right? I think you sent us this team last week and said you needed a better running back, and we were looking at a roster with CMC, Dalvin Cook, Darrell Henderson. How the hell would you ever think you need a better running back? If anything, we need a better receiver with Hollywood Brown going down, and now we're rolling out A.J. Brown, Michael Gallup, Curtis Samuel. So no, I don't agree with your assessment. I think we need a better wide receiver. And if we were trying to make a trade here, I would have told you to sell Everett with Keenan Allen coming back in. But at the same time, when we are looking at Gerald Everett now, Mike Williams going out, target should still be easy to find. It's hard to find a player to sell high on or to trade away in general. We're 5-2, so we want to be keeping Hollywood for the fantasy football playoffs. I don't have much to tell you, my friend, and I'm sorry. I wish that I had more. I wish that I was a little more useful here. If I was going to say anything, maybe we could go through and see what it, and this isn't helpful. I know this isn't helpful. I'm literally grasping at straws. I'm trying to come up with anything here. Maybe we could try to go ahead and see what we could get for Curtis Samuel. I don't know. I think it's a very good team. I think you do not need to focus in on running back. You're set at running back. If we could trade Curtis Samuel for a wide receiver like Romeo Doubs that maybe we like the long-term upside of a little bit more, then sure. Aside of that, I don't think we need to make any moves. I mean, I wish I could go back in a time machine and fix the mistake that I made by telling everybody to go through and draft Kyle Pitts, by telling everybody that Kyle Pitts was going to be fine at the beginning of the season. I wish I could go through and correct that mistake. I wish I could hop in a time machine and tell you back in week 1 that we want to trade away Kyle Pitts. But that ship has sailed. That's no longer an option for us. I am very sorry. Now, J-Mac coming out. Sorry for just now getting this question. My man says, do you recommend I make this trade, sir? I give Chubb and Devonta Smith for Patrick Mahomes and Davante Adams. Hell yeah. We've got Rodgers, CMC, Kenneth Walker, Amon-Ra St. Brown, George Pickens, Kelsey. So you're telling me we're getting the Mahomes and Kelsey stack. We're getting the elite level wide receiver as well. You have CMC, Kenneth Walker at running back. So, I mean, we can't afford to trade away Nick Chubb. Let's do it. I know I kind of want to assume that Aaron Rodgers is going to be fine going forward. I'm hoping he is. I want to root for him. But if you look at Las Vegas spreads, I don't know how many of y'all have looked at this line already, but you have the Bills and the Packers going up against each other this Sunday night. Can everybody please go to the live chat? We all know the Bills are favored in this game. But everybody go to the live chat. Guess how many points you think the Buffalo Bills are favored by over the Green Bay Packers. Let me know what you think in the live chat. But yes, I would trade Chubb and Devonta Smith for Patrick Mahomes and Davante Adams with this roster. But really quick, Matthew coming out with a massive dono. Thank you. Let me answer this. We'll go right back to where we were. 14-team league, PBR, lost hope because of Javonte Lance. But now 3 and 4, we have Tua, Etienne, Najee, Gus, Kupp, Waddle. Okay, 14-team league where we have Tua, Etienne, Najee, Kupp, Waddle's a good roster. McLaurin, Wandale, Everett. Thinking about patching Gus and McLaurin for an upgrade at running back or quarterback. What are your thoughts? Don't do the upgraded quarterback. I mean, you have Tua Tagovailoa. You should have a great week this week against the Lions. Maybe you could sell afterwards, but not right now. If you wanted to upgrade the running back spot, I would have been fine with this if this was a 10-team league. I think you have the 100% right mindset for a regular fantasy football format. If this is a 10, 12-team league, then yeah, I mean, I would love to package those two players together and go ahead and get that one upgrade, but I don't think we can. Specifically because this is a 14-team league, because this is a 14-team format, depth is going to be a little bit harder to come by. Not only is depth going to be harder to come by, but you already kind of got screwed here. You already had Javonte and Lance going down. So we've already taken some hits with this roster that I think it's going to be harder for us to make that 2-for-1 deal because we had those injuries. And on top of it, because it's a 14-team league. So I really like the team. I think it's commendable how we've stuck together in that 14-team format despite some serious injuries. But no, we're not going to go through and we're not going to make a trade like that right at this moment. And really quick, it looks like half of y'all have gone down there and dropped a like on the live stream. We have over 700 likes right now. So thank you so much for everybody hitting that like button. I truly appreciate it. And if you have not yet, fix your life. Go down there and drop that like. Okay, so now our next question coming out from, I believe, Ben says, 10-team full PBR, Lost Hall, running backs are Etienne, Mostert. Receivers are Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, DeAndre Hopkins. Traded Deebo and DeAndre Hopkins for Amon-Ra and Alvin Kamara. What are your thoughts? We lost Elijah Mitchell as well. Well, I'd rather have Amon-Ra St. Brown over Deebo Samuel. DeAndre Hopkins, Alvin Kamara, I like both players, but if you're telling me we lost Breece Hall and Elijah Mitchell, then yeah, let's go make the deal. Now, Kobe says traded Mixon and Singletary for JT. Really like it. We're 6-1. Kamara and Mostert. So, yeah, with Singletary, I mean, I am not excited about having Singletary on our roster at all. Literally top 5 in the NFL in snaps. Like, top 5 in the NFL in snaps and the best offense in the NFL. However, at the same time, the man just simply cannot score fantasy points. So when we get, in my opinion, probably more involvement from James Cook later this season, you have a very difficult time here for Singletary. But Badass G coming out says, sup Mason, I could trade Etienne and Higgins for Davante Adams. I do have Kirk and 2 Panthers running backs. Okay, no. If you're telling me those are our running backs, I know, and Mixon, Kamara. I want to trade for a league-winning receiver. I agree, Davante Adams looks like a league-winning wide receiver, but can y'all please let me know what you think? Can everybody please go to the live chat? Let me know what you think between Travis Etienne and T. Higgins versus Davante Adams. Please spam the chat. We have 1,400 people. If we could get 1,400 messages, that'd be awesome. I think I'm going Etienne and Higgins. But Robert says, was trading Donta Foreman for Kareem Hunt a good trade, knowing Kareem is up for trades right now? I mean, I think Kareem Hunt has a significantly higher ceiling than Donta Foreman, just knowing the offense he's playing in, if something happens to Chubb or if he were to get traded. But in reality, I mean, I'm looking at the live chat telling us ETN, pretty much everybody. We have a few Adams, but everybody's saying ETN. I want to ask the live chat this as well. Where would you think Kareem Hunt gets traded? The Rams, and maybe that's it. What other contending teams actually need a running back? Let's go to standings right now. I mean, if he got traded to the Bills, obviously that'd be very exciting. I did not. The Chiefs, maybe, probably not. Actually, he could go to the Ravens. Never mind. Maybe there are a lot of teams that need running backs. I guess you could get Kareem Hunt to the Ravens. You could get Kareem Hunt to the Chiefs. Get Kareem Hunt to the Bills. Get Kareem Hunt to the Broncos. Ship him over to the Rams. Looks like it's about it, but I mean, there are a lot of teams. Someone says Falcons. I mean, you're not going to ship them to a team that's not competitive. Non-competitive team's not trading for a veteran running back here. Now, Ludovic says, had Javonte and Brees. Quarterback, we have Prescott and Cousins. Running back, we have Eckler, Barkley, Gordon. Receiver, we have Evans, Brown, Lamb, Olave, Pickens, Jameson Williams. 5 and 2 trades that we should make right now. I mean, I would like to upgrade our running back 3 spot, have a little bit more depth as we go through these bye weeks. I don't think you have to do this, but when we lose both Javonte and Brees Hall, obviously you still have the 2 elite level running backs here, but I would be very interested in seeing the price point to trade for another RB, specifically with Chris Olave. I just want to get a pulse on what the current value is on Olave. He has been phenomenal from a dynasty perspective. I just recorded our updated dynasty rookie rankings for that dynasty channel, and I am very, very, very high on Olave. I mean, I loved him in rookie drafts. But I think from a redraft perspective, you may get back in Michael Thomas. You may get back in Jarvis Landry. And it significantly eats into his target share. It's a little worrisome. I know he's been phenomenal. And because he's been phenomenal, I would like to see if we could get an elite level running back. Like if we could trade Olave and Melvin Gordon and go get ETN. Okay. Now, Caden says 2 and 5, lost by 0.1. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, my man. We have Lamar, Fournette, Kamara, Jefferson, Waddle, Debo, Waller, Boyd. Just traded Debo, Boyd, and Latavius Murray for Dalvin and Higgins. Well, going from Debo to Higgins is a massive upgrade, and going from Tyler Boyd and Latavius Murray to Dalvin Cook is also a massive upgrade. So I hate to see that we're 2 and 5. I think with the extended NFL regular season, you're not out of it if you are 2 and 5. And this roster just got a whole lot better. This roster just definitely got a whole lot better. I have no idea who the hell thinks Deebo Samuel is still worth this with Christian McCaffrey coming over. Now, Matt says, traded for Carter last week, but they already have J-Rob. I mean, with Carter, I still don't get it twisted. Like, Michael Carter's in a significantly better spot this week than he was last week. James Robinson is nothing close to Brees Hall. I mean, let me tweet this out too, just in case anybody thinks otherwise. Okay, so Black Jesus says trade AJ Brown for JT. Hell yes. Also, can Ramondre keep this up? I mean, yes, I think he can, but don't want to say it's a guarantee because if we are looking at Ramondre Stevenson, this was the perfect game environment for him. They were behind the entire game. We know that he's the pass catcher over Damian Harris. So it's very exciting for Ramondre Stevenson, and you would rather see this than the opposite. But at the same time, I don't want to sit here and act like Ramondre is a locked and loaded running back one now. Now, Lazul says, I traded James Robinson for Breece Hall 3 weeks ago. I mean, guys, don't think Breece Hall is like some league-winning running back. I'm sorry, Breece Hall was a league-winning running back. Don't think James Robinson is in the same category. Don't think James Robinson can hold a candle to what Breece Hall was. James Robinson was traded for a 6th-round NFL draft pick. Don't think that they are anything close to each other. Shane says Singletary and Alec Pierce for Christian Kirk. I would get Christian Kirk if you want a wide receiver upgrade. With Paris Campbell getting involved in Indianapolis, even with the quarterback upgrade they have this week, I'd be a little bit worried about Alec Pierce. I don't think he's that valuable. And real quick, we are 1 like away from hitting 800 likes in the live stream. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the stream. We have not missed a day of live streaming in well over 100 days. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here as well. But Bradley coming out with a massive dono. Thank you so much. My friend says, just took your advice and went and got CeeDee Lamb, traded away Stevenson with Eckler, Swift, Walker, Connor, Brian Robinson, and Kyron Williams on my roster. Receivers are Gabe Davis, Mike Williams. Okay, yeah. So if you had Mike Williams going down and Alec Pierce looked like your wide receiver too, hell yes, my man. Great trade. Love the value you got. Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, this doesn't compare to CeeDee Lamb either. I mean, CeeDee Lamb should be the elite asset going forward. Obviously, the issue is this Dallas Cowboys defense is so damn good that it looks like they just simply may not be getting into shootouts how they used to. But still, I think that is a very, very nice trade to go get CeeDee Lamb. And now our next dono coming out from Carlos says, I was just offered Damian Harris, Terry McLaurin, and Najee for James Robinson and Drake London. Well, I'd rather have Najee over James Robinson, Damian Harris, Terry McLaurin versus Drake London. Who the hell cares? Yeah, let's go get Najee Harris, Terry McLaurin, Damian Harris. I guess James Robinson's a sell-high running back. I guess he is. Michael Carter and James Robinson are splitting this backfield. Like, James Robinson's not going to be close to what Breece Hall was. Arthur says, PPR rest of season, would you rather have Raheem Mostert or Tony Pollard? I would say that these running backs probably project to be similar on a week-to-week standpoint. If we were 100% guaranteed that Ezekiel Elliott were not to get injured, I think that you could make a strong argument to go ahead and take Raheem Mostert, given the role that he currently has. However, if we are not just focusing in on the median projection, and instead we are looking at the entire range of outcomes, well, Raheem Mostert may project to be slightly better from a week-to-week standpoint. You still have the outside chance that, hell, what happens if you do get an injury to Ezekiel Elliott, and then all of a sudden Tony Pollard turns into a true league-winning running back. He turns into a top 5 guy. That would never happen with Raheem Mostert, even if you were to have an injury to Chase Edmonds. And for that reason, I'd be fine going ahead and taking Pollard over Mostert. We would go Pollard there. But now, our next dono coming out from Mars says, Sutton and Evans aren't working out as wide receivers. Running backs are Pierce, Etienne, Swift, Cook, Brian Robinson. Also have Kelsey, but no backup. What wide receiver do I go after with who? So I think Evans is going to be fine if you look at the passing volume in Tampa, even if Brady looks very bad. I mean, Evans still getting the volume. You still have points being scored just because there are so many, and I repeat, so many attempts as we previously have discussed. Now, if we were looking to make a trade, I think that Brian Robinson is personally going to be the guy that I'm trying to sell. Just specifically with Brian Robinson here, he's in a 3-man running back by committee in one of the league's worst offenses. It doesn't matter if he looks pretty good. It doesn't matter if you're excited about him in general. I think that we should be looking to sell if possible. And if we are looking to get a return for Brian Robinson and Courtland Sutton, let's go get the trifecta of the guys. Let's go get the 3 players that I recommend nonstop. I've done it all season. DeAndre Hopkins, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins. Let's go get one of those. Now, C. Diesel says, trade Raheem and Mike Williams to get Jamar Chase. Are you freaking kidding me? Yes. You're saying your best receivers on your team are Alec Pierce and Wandale. I know I'm like speechless here, but You shouldn't have been able to trade Raheem Mostert to Mike Williams for Jamar Chase before the Mike Williams injury. Now Mike Williams dealing with a high ankle sprain. It's a no-brainer, my friend. And Adrian says Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Etienne, Montgomery, Kirk, Godwin, and Njoku, London, Pickens, and he moves London, Prescott for Amari Cooper and Jared Goff. Probably rather keep Prescott. Trade Kirk, Godwin for Debo and Sutton. Second one's fair. It is going to be up to your personal preference. I'm not a massive Sutton guy. Don't really like Debo much either with Christian McCaffrey coming over. If I was looking to make a move, maybe we could go through and sell high on George Pickens, where George Pickens looks phenomenal, but he's in a crabby spot where you're just dealing with some serious target competition with Deontay Johnson, with Chase Claypool. And on top of this, you have a low volume passing attack. So if we can use the talent as a selling point specifically for George Pickens and go and get a long-term upgrade at tight end, that would be exciting, because obviously Njoku going down is going to be a little painful. Okay. Now, Swag says, a 12-team league. I have CMC, Fournette, Zeke, Kupp, Diggs, Tyreek. Should I trade Diggs for Jonathan Taylor? Yes. I think if you have Kupp, Diggs, and Tyreek, you can 100% make that deal. I mean, it's going to be up to you. Diggs is the wide receiver 1 overall in fantasy. Cody says 4-3 in first place. Full PBR traded away Juju for Miles Sanders. Needed a Breece Hall replacement. What are your thoughts? I'm fine with it. Obviously, Juju has a spike week this past week, as you would naturally assume randomly comes from anybody in an elite level offense. But yeah, I think you're fine with it because Miles Sanders could have his own spike weeks whenever he's playing in an elite offense in Philadelphia. Okay. So now our next donation coming out from Max says, trade Etienne and Lazard for Kupp and Rashad Bateman. So I am a massive Etienne guy, and my friend, I'm not even going to look at your roster for this. I can tell we have Saquon and Eckler, so we don't even need a running back. I'm a massive Etienne guy. We drafted him everywhere. He's a buy low player for us week after week after week. But if you're going to be able to get Cooper Kupp, like while I really like Travis Etienne, while I am very much rooting for Travis Etienne, I can be realistic here. He's good. And now very, very exciting with no James Robinson, but he's no Cooper Kupp. And he's never going to be Cooper Kupp, and he's never going to be close. Cooper Kupp is one of a kind, my friend. Okay. But a tribe called Nev says, happy BR, should I trade Olave and Clyde Edwards-Helaire for Mark Andrews? Yes. We have Jefferson, Higgins, Dobbs, Pierce, Etienne, Pacheco, and Zach Ertz. Let's go ahead. Let's get Mark Andrews. 0 points this past week, but is clearly just dealing with the knee injury. Now, BT says, should I trade Ramondre and DeAndre Hopkins for Kelsey and James Conner? Damian Harris looked like a non-factor today, though. I would still make this deal, and while I agree that Ramondre Stevenson looked phenomenal and they had no involvement from Damian Harris whatsoever, keep in mind, what is the perfect game environment for Ramondre Stevenson? Perfect game environment for Ramondre Stevenson is a game where they get blown out. And that is exactly what happened here. Zyle coming out with another massive donation. Thank you so much, as always, my man. Let me go ahead. Let me add you as a moderator. Says, all right, boss, I have a tough one for you. Of course, I had Breece Hall, so the team's now in shambles. It's a 12-team PBR format. Brady and Dak, Etienne, Eno, Foreman, Akers, Dillon, Evans, Higgins, Myers, Jameson, and Wandale. I'm stuck. Oh, dear God. I mean, I feel like this is so many of the teams that probably are in this live stream dealing with the same exact situation. Like, obviously, you want to get excited that we all have Travis Etienne, but we all had Breece Hall as well. It is tough. It is difficult. And at the same time, we don't have really the wide receiver depth to be able to overcome this and make just an easy deal where we sell our wide receiver 3 with a running back 2 and go and get an upgrade that way. It's going to be a little tougher than that. If we were looking to make a trade, I think what we're going to be looking to do is possibly move one of the quarterbacks. You're not going to get a bag of peanuts right now for Tom Brady. I still think Brady is someone that you can start. While he does not look good from a real life standpoint, The passing volume is still so high that he is someone that you're going to be able to start on a week-to-week basis in fantasy. So I would go ahead. I would look to package together Dak Prescott and then a running back like Donta Foreman and go ahead and see if we can get a long-term running back upgrade that way. You would have rather had a better week from Dak Prescott this past week, of course, going up against the Lions. I thought he was going to crush. The issue wasn't Dak himself. The issue was this Dallas Cowboys defense is good, and they are not going to have shootouts. There are going to be no shootouts here. It's just going to be a spot where the Cowboys are probably able to win the ball by running it consistently, which you don't love to see. But hell, I mean, we're selling Dak Prescott in this scenario, so it's not the end of the world here. And now Raheel coming out with a massive, massive donation. Thank you for everything, my friend says. In a keep 3 league for 2 years, I have Brees. Should I flip him to a losing team? And for what running back? I was offered my Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker, Allen Robinson. For CMC, Michael Thomas, Brandon Ayuk. Losing Kenneth Walker as a keeper would suck, but my team would be Burrow, Chase, Higgins, Waddle, CMC, and Saquon Barkley. Dynasty format, I would say easily yes. Before I answer this question, Real, can you please let me know in the live chat, and please do not donate to let me know this. Please just let me know in the live chat. How many players can you keep? Oh, keep 3. Keep 3 league for 2 years. If it is a 3-man keeper league, in my opinion, plays much closer to a redraft format. It plays much closer to a redraft format than that dynasty league. So if we're moving off of Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker, essentially, I mean, the Allen Robinson, Michael Thomas, Ayuk side, that doesn't matter. We're moving up Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker for Christian McCaffrey. If we view this as a dynasty league, it's laughable. But if it is only a 3-player keeper league and you can only keep guys for 2 years, it is essentially a redraft league. Don't overthink, don't overvalue the keeper aspect of this format. I think that you just go ahead. I think that you just get Christian McCaffrey. Brees Hall, you don't even know if you would be starting him next year when you have guys like Jamar Chase, Saquon Barkley, Waddle. Like, we don't even know if we'd be starting Brees Hall. We'd have to wait for the injury updates. You wouldn't be that excited about it, specifically in this league where you are already loaded here. So let's treat it as a redraft. Let's go trade for Christian McCaffrey. Treat it as a redraft. Let's go trade for CMC. But thank you so much, as always, for being a longtime member of the flock here, my friend. Now, Thune says Swift or ETN in a full PBR format. I mean, literally, we spent the entire offseason saying, don't draft DeAndre Swift at the end of round 1. Take Travis Etienne in the 4th. They're the same guy. Spent the entire offseason saying that. I mean, I think that they are very comparable. Can I ask the live chat this? Can everybody please go to the live chat? I mean, I am dying to hear your answer. Would you rather have DeAndre Swift or Travis Etienne going forward? DeAndre Swift or Travis Etienne going forward? Please let me know. Please, please, please let me know. Okay. So we have Swift, Etienne, Swift, Etienne. Etienne, Swift, Etienne, Swift, Etienne, Swift, Etienne, Etienne. It sounds like maybe more people prefer Travis Etienne over DeAndre Swift. I would say that DeAndre Swift does have the better offensive line between the two. Very close. I like both running backs in a full PPR league. Maybe if you're like 7-0, 6-1, you're like, you know what? I don't care at all about points right now. There, you just go ahead and take DeAndre Swift. Whereas if you're 0-7, 1-6, and you're like, I need points in this starting lineup right this second. Maybe in that context, you go ETN. I don't know. They're very, very close. They're like the same guy, in my opinion. Now, Jose says, trade Godwin for DeAndre Swift. We have Diggs, Higgins, Waddle, Chubb, Dalvin, full PPR format. Yeah, I would. Let's go get DeAndre Swift. Synchronicity says 12-team PPR format where we have Geno, T-Law, Cup, Ayuk, Pickens, Lenny, Carter, Hunt, Patterson, Andrews. Any recommendations where we're 2 and 5? 2 and 5, I think this sucks, but you're going to have to go through, you're going to have to package together Cordell Patterson and Michael Carter, Cordell Patterson and Kareem Hunt, Cordell Patterson and any one of these running backs to get an immediate upgrade in this starting lineup. I know that with Cordell Patterson, when we're trading him away, you're not going to be getting much value at all. And I fully acknowledge that. Like, I don't want to sit here and act like, oh yeah, let's trade Cordell Patterson and let's go get Kenneth Walker. I know you're not getting much. I know you're barely getting anything. But when you're 2 and 5, this is now about the point where it's win or go home. This is now about the point where you need to be treating it as if it's the fantasy football playoffs, where you are doing everything that you can to get points in this starting lineup immediately. So while you may be selling you may be selling Cordell Patterson at a discount compared to the production that you will have at the end of the season, honestly, I don't care. Sell him at that discount, even if he comes back 3-4 weeks from now. May not help you if you lose these next two. Now, Sam says, lost Brees Hall. The waiver wires have good players that have been dropped recently. Pick 2 to claim. Thomas, Landry, Myers, or Gus Edwards. We're going to go Michael Thomas and Gus Edwards over those two guys. Now, Sean coming out, thank you, says 18 PBR format where we have Burrow, Lamar. Running back, we have Saquon, Jacobs, Sanders, Kenneth Walker. Receiver, we have Diggs, Jefferson, Higgins, Godwin. Should trade Sanders and Godwin for Mark Andrews. I was literally going to make a suggestion to go through and trade for Mark Andrews on this Lamar Jackson build. So hell yes, let's go ahead and let's do it. Now, we have a massive dono coming out from Eric. Thank you. Let me answer this, and then we'll go right back to where we were. It says, 10-team PBR format, we have Allen, Etienne, Brian Robinson, Chase Pittman, Higbee, DeAndre Hopkins on the bench. We have DeAndre Swift, Lockett, Sutton, Njoku, CEH, and Amari Cooper. We're 7-0. Thanks for the awesome advice, man. What moves should we look to make? Congrats on the 7-0 start, my man. I am super happy for you. I mean, I know some people are worried about Michael Pittman here. I'm not going to be too concerned. I honestly think that Matt Ryan was dramatically overvalued coming into the season. That's why I wasn't really drafting Michael Pittman anywhere. So, I mean, I think we probably hold Pittman for now. You don't have DeAndre Hopkins on your bench. You're going to play DeAndre Hopkins over Michael Pittman. Please make sure we're doing that. I think that if we're looking to do anything, the trade is let's go upgrade the running back position. So with Brian Robinson, I actually liked that he did expand his role slightly as a pass catcher. Obviously, it looks like they're involving less of J.D. McKissic, but still, it is a spot where you have multiple running backs getting involved in Washington, which you can have multiple running backs getting involved in an offense and still have exciting players in said offense. 100%. I'm not saying you can't have a committee running back, but my issue is, we can't have a committee running back in one of the worst offenses in the NFL. So personally, I am going to be concerned about Brian Robinson. I mean, I'm not a Courtland Sutton fan. I would love to sell Courtland Sutton and Brian Robinson and go get a running back upgrade. Personally, that's what I'm going to be looking for. I would love to go sell Courtland Sutton and Brian Robinson and get a running back upgrade. Okay. Now, Soballer coming out says, would you trade Pittman for DeAndre Hopkins? Hell yes. Jonathan Taylor for Amon-Ra St. Brown? Hell no. Brian Robinson for Michael Carter? Not with James Robinson coming over. Also, who do you like better, T. Higgins or Chris Godwin? T. Higgins. Now, Awesome Kitty Ninja says, y'all best go like the live stream. Keep it up, Mason. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And yes, if you have not done so yet, go down there, drop a like on the live stream. We are closing in on 140,000 subscribers, and we are closing in on 1,000 likes on the live stream. So, of course, thank you so much, everybody, for supporting the stream. I truly do appreciate y'all. And Debris says, should we drop Eno for Carter or no? Because the Jets are getting James Robinson, currently trading Adams and Davis for Lamb and Etienne. I like that deal. And I would drop, Benjamin for Michael Carter, even with James Robinson coming over. I mean, with Michael Carter, he will be the pass catcher. And James Conner, I'd imagine, comes back this week. Now, Mamadou says, should I trade Dameon Pierce for Amon-Ra St. Brown, depending on your roster and if it's a full PPR format? Andrew says, Cup, Aaron Jones, Pollard for Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson. I probably would go, Cup over Jefferson. Aaron Jones, Pollard versus Tyreek Hill is going to come down to your roster. Dareem says Rodgers or Brady for week 8. We're going to go Brady. Right now, Rodgers is an 11-point dog to the Buffalo Bills. He's an 11-point dog to the Buffalo Bills on Sunday night. It's hard to get too excited about that spot. But really quick, we have a massive donation coming out from, I believe, Haji. Thank you so much, my man, for supporting the channel. You've been a long-time member of the vlog here. Thank you. Says, need help going 3-4 this week, 12-team full PPR format, where we have Lamar and Dak. Running backs are JT, Dalvin, Kenneth Walker, Eno, and Hunt. Receivers are Lamb, Deontay, London, Duvernay, Wandale, Tyquan Thornton. Tight end, we have Kittle, Gesicki, Hollywood on the IR. Thanks, man. Thank you so much for being a member of the flock. I truly do appreciate you. If we are going to be looking to make a move, I know that Lamar Jackson's been very bad, right? So Lamar Jackson through the first 3 weeks this season literally averaged 4 touchdowns a game. Lamar Jackson averaged 4 TDs a game in Baltimore. He was phenomenal. And over the past 3 weeks, Lamar Jackson, instead of going through and averaging the 4 touchdowns a game, has averaged less than 1 touchdown a game. Lamar's had 3 touchdowns over the past 4 weeks. This is all off the top of my head. So if I'm wrong by 0.1, please forgive me. Despite this, I do think he's a must-start guy going forward. Every single week, regardless. You add the Rashad Bateman injury. Week 4 against the Buffalo Bills, the first week Lamar started struggling. You had Mark Andrews banged up this past week. I still think Lamar is someone who's starting every week going forward. Now that we have Dak Prescott here with some value, if we could go through and look to sell Dak Prescott in a package, maybe go and ship him with, say, Deontay Johnson or Drake London, and go ahead and get an upgrade at wide receiver to play alongside CeeDee Lamb. I would really like that just because we need a wide receiver upgrade, and I think there's no other way for us to get it. We're not going to get anything for Kareem Hunt, not going to get anything for Eno, not going to get anything for Gesicki. With Hollywood going down, I think we need the Hollywood upgrade. Let's go trade Dak and Deontay or Dak and London, and let's go get that wide receiver. But really quick, we are 1 like away from hitting 1,000 likes on the live stream. Thank you so much for everybody supporting the channel. If you have not done so yet, be our 1,000th like of the stream. It does help us out a ton. And now we have another massive donut coming out from, I believe, Riley. Thank you. Says, are there any wide receivers you would potentially trade Mike Evans for 1-for-1? After this weekend, I don't really trust the Bucs offense in a 12-team PPR format. So yeah, a couple of those guys that, have been a part of the trifecta, the players that we recommend every single week. If we could go ahead, if we could trade someone like Mike Evans and go get Jalen Waddle, I would really like that. If we could go ahead, trade Mike Evans and get DeAndre Hopkins, I think those would be 2 perfect examples. A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill. Obviously, we're not going to get anybody above that, though. I think you could maybe convince one owner to get a deal like that. Okay. Now we have another Macedonia coming out from V27 Cases. Hey, Mason, 5-2. The Breece Hall injury hurts. Loved him as a player as well. I have Dak, Eckler, Walker, Diggs, Amari, Andrews, Carter at the flex. We have Bateman, Gibson, Curtis Samuel on the bench. What moves should we make? So we don't have too much depth here. Specifically at the top end, if we're rolling out Eckler, Walker every week at running back, we're going to be fine. Diggs, Cooper, we're going to be fine at receiver. We still have great guys in the starting lineup. I don't see any sell-high players that we have in the starting lineup itself. I like the construction of the team. It's not like I can tell you to go and sell Bateman. Bateman was a wide receiver we were selling after a couple spike weeks early on in the season just because those long touchdowns weren't going to be able to carry over through the rest of the year. But now you're not going to be getting anything for Rashad Bateman, so it's more like we're just going to be sitting on our hands in this situation. We're going to be looking at Curtis Samuel as well. Not going to get anything from him. So honestly, my friend, I really like the team. There's not much for me to say. I'm super sorry that Brees Hall went down. I'd imagine that 99% of the people in the live chat right now have Brees Hall. Please, we did this earlier in the live chat when we had about 600 people in the stream. Be really cool to see now that we have 1,300 people in the live stream. Please, everybody in the live stream, send a message if you had Brees Hall. Just say, I had Brees Hall. Let's see how many people in the flock had Brees Hall on their rosters. Okay. And then Sonny says, I think you missed going back to V27K. I'm sorry. I don't see any clear sell high candidates. I don't see any clear trades to make. I think that we're just going to go through. We're going to be active on the waiver wire, try to backfill the depth that way. Now, Sonny coming out with a massive dono says, I think you missed an earlier donation from me. Nope. I promise you, I'm not going to miss any donations. I'm going and answering every single donation question in order. If we have like a massive $20 dono, I just answer that right away. We've had more $20 donations this live stream than I've ever had. So I am running late on donations, but I promise you I'm not going to miss it. I promise you. All the other ones we just go through and answer in order. I have a page for it. And Sonny says, I think you missed an earlier donation from me. The format for that league is a 12-team full BBR super flex. Start 2 running backs, 2 flexes, and 3 receivers. We're 5 and 2. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's find where your team was here. Traded Brees for Waddle in a dynasty format. So dynasty where we are going through and we can start up to 5 wide receivers every single week, 5 and 2 contending team. I think it makes sense. In win now mode, have Waddle, still great for the future. What are your thoughts? We also have Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Godwin, Kirk. Running backs are Dalvin, Stevenson, Brian Robinson. Yes, good deal. A good deal selling Brees Hall for Jalen Waddle, even in a dynasty format where, I love Brees Hall. But I mean, if we are being realistic here, you're getting the points from Jalen Waddle right now. You need those points from Jalen Waddle in a win now dynasty build where we have Adams, Diggs, Godwin, Dalvin, all as assets that are just giving us that 2022 production and then going to be losing value afterwards. So 100% completely agree with that trade. Now, dear God, we have Jaden coming out with a massive donation. Says, hey man, it's been a while. I remember when you were at sub 5,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, my man. That's back when we had the little chalkboard up there. I was blown away with the fact that we would have like 70, 80 people hanging out with us on the live stream. It still boggles my mind. Once we get to like the number, like there are 1,300 people out here, it's just not even comprehensible for me. I mean, I can't comprehend it. I don't know if comprehensible is a word, but thank you so much for everything. Says, I'm 3 and 4. I have Kyler, Dalvin, Etienne, Zeke, Pollard, Jamar Chase, Mike Williams, Lockett, Drake London, Andrews, 10-team league. What move should we make? So Mike Williams going down obviously is going to eat into some of the wide receiver depth that we had. All of a sudden, we're going to be looking to start Jamar, Tyler Lockett every single week, a wide receiver. The depth behind that's going to be a little bit thin with Drake London and absolutely no passing volume in Atlanta. Running back when we have Dalvin, Etienne, we have 2 running backs that we can start every week. I don't want to make a trade right now. I think that this is a phenomenal roster that is going to be significantly better going forward. In a 10-team league, I'm very surprised that we're 3 and 4. I'd imagine that honestly, we probably just had some tough matchups. What we are going to look to do is sit on our hands for the time being. However, eventually, we are going to be looking to go ahead and sell Ezekiel Elliott. I'm not telling you to sell Zeke right now. We actually had Ezekiel Elliott on a buy low running back video last week and 2 weeks ago because I think the fantasy football sentiment around Zeke went a little bit too far where I thought he was a little bit overvalued coming into the season, but then everybody gave up on him. Whereas I think that he's playing in a good offense on a very good team. And in the right matchup, he is going to crush, which he did this past week against the Detroit Lions, as you were assuming he was going to. And this upcoming week, I know that the Chicago Bears just had a great day against the New England Patriots. I would still imagine that the Dallas Cowboys are going to be heavily favored in this contest. I mean, the line going in to Monday night between the Dallas Cowboys and the Chicago Bears for next week, obviously it's probably going to be a little bit different now, was about 10.5 points. I think Ezekiel Elliott does have a good day then as well. So looking at that schedule, looking at Ezekiel Elliott probably having some hot games, I think we look to keep him on our team for now, But in the long term, we will look to go through and see if we can sell Ezekiel Elliott in a package, get a truly elite level wide receiver coming over, maybe sell him with another receiver and go out of our way and get someone like DeAndre Hopkins that we can pair up with Kyler Murray. I think that would be very exciting. We're just going to have to wait a little bit on it. Wait a week or two and then look to make that move. No moves for now. I think it's a great roster. It's honestly much better than his record. Now, Miller coming out with a massive dono. Thank you, says, hey man, think I should make some moves in a 12-team league. 3 wide receivers have PPR. I'm 5-2 where we have Allen, Jones, Mixon, Sanders, Jefferson, Godwin, Rondale, Pierce, Rondale, and Wandale. Obviously, they sound very similar. Isaiah McKenzie, Pitts. Feels like Aaron Jones needs to go. Okay, if you wanted to trade Aaron Jones, I'm going to be fine with it. I mean, we talked about Aaron Jones being someone you couldn't trade away last week because he was coming off a game against the New York Jets where he had absolutely nothing in about 19 rushing yards. Absolutely disgusting. We are looking ahead, seeing the matchup against Washington, saying if you wanted to sell Aaron Jones, just wait a bit. You would get your chance after this Washington game. So I would not mind at all if you wanted to sell Aaron Jones. If you were looking to move off of him, I mean, it's going to be hard to get someone like Kenneth Walker. But if we could sell Aaron Jones and go get Travis Etienne, wouldn't really mind that. Can I ask the live chat who they would rather have right now? Obviously, Etienne skyrocketing in value as well. Can everybody in the chat please spam their answers? Would you rather have Travis Etienne or Aaron Jones rest of season? Travis Etienne or Aaron Jones rest of season? Looks like 99% of people are saying Etienne. So you know what? Maybe we'd have to add a wide receiver to get that deal done. Maybe I was underestimating the Travis Etienne hype. Y'all know I'm excited about Etienne, but it's just so funny that the fantasy football community will just flip that switch just like that. Now, Mina says, traded last week Swift, Pitts, and Stevenson for Mixon and Breece Hall. RIP. Also have Dobbins and Etienne on the team. Got offered Pierce and Gus Edwards for Joe Mixon. Not doing this. Should I do it since the only healthy running backs I have are Mixon and Etienne? Personally, no. I mean, with Gus Edwards, if you could guarantee the week that you just had every week, then sure. I think that he's 100% a player that's worth a roster spot. Like we had him on our waiver wire video. I think that you need to go through and make sure you have him on your team. Yes, 100% get him on your roster. But at the same time, I'm going to have a very hard time calling him a player that's ever a must-start option in that you are looking at Gus Edwards in an offense where he split the snaps. Pretty much it was 33% going to Gus Edwards, 33% going to Justice Hill, 33% going to Kenyon Drake. So I think there's a massive downgrade from Joe Mixon in an elite Cincinnati Bengals offense over to Dameon Pierce. I'm not a fan of the Texans. But name coming out with a massive dono. Thank you. Says, hey, new fan. I have Allen, Kamara, Jacobs, Eno, Pittman, St. Brown, Lockett, Hawkinson. What do you think about Josh Allen, Alvin Kamara, and Pittman for Burrow? So a massive downgrade from Allen to Burrow, despite what we just had this week against Atlanta. Justin Jefferson. Okay, so a massive upgrade from Kamara to Jefferson. Pittman to Carter. Honestly, I don't like it. I understand why you'd be worried about Michael Pittman here, given the fact that they are going to go ahead. They're going to play Sam Ehlinger, who has never played an NFL game before. But this is not a situation where they're throwing it in the towel on their season. Now, I need to be 100% honest with you. I could not be more biased with Sam Ehlinger. I went to the University of Texas. I used to see Sam Ehlinger walking around campus regularly. Hook 'em horns. Of course, I'm going to be rooting for our guy. And at the same time, I can't be more biased because we were also talking crap on Matt Ryan coming into the season. So just full transparency here. But this coaching staff is not making this move to throw in the towel, to give up on the season. They're doing this because they think Ehlinger gives them the better shot to win now. if the coaching staff who's in the building, who sees both these quarterbacks every single week, that's their impression of the situation, I think that we have to assume that, hell, it's a lateral move at the worst, upgrade at the best. But I'm sorry. For everybody who donated a long time ago, I promise you, I'm trying to get to your questions. We have never had this many big donations before. Thank you so much, everybody supporting the channel. I truly do appreciate it. I'm trying to answer these questions as fast as I possibly can and in a timely manner as well. I'm sorry. And in depth enough as well. But Cole Kelly coming out, long time. Remember the flock out here all the time. Says 12-team PPR format, 6-1 now. Lamar, CMC, Dalvin Cook, Jamar, Adams, Lamb, Andrews. And then on the bench, we have Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, James Conner, Gus Edwards, Brandon Cooks. We lost Breece, got offered Eckler for Dalvin Cook, Devontae Adams now. Trade Dalvin Cook in a package for Jonathan Taylor or DeAndre Swift. What are we looking to do? Okay, so with the Eckler deal, I understand why you would be looking to do it, where Eckler is by far and away the running back one in fantasy right now. I think you have to project him probably as the running back one rest of season as well. He's been phenomenal. He's getting every single target out of this backfield. He has a ton of touchdown upside, given the fact that, hell, this is a very good Chargers offense. But you're paying an extreme price here. I mean, this is paying a premium to get this deal done. I understand that Dalvin Cook hasn't been good. Like Dalvin Cook, the usage between him and Alexander Mattison has been a little bit concerning over the past few weeks. If you look at the snaps, the raw touches, whatever it may be. I think you're selling at an all-time low, though. I mean, if these are the returns that you're getting, and maybe I'm underestimating Eckler and overestimating Dalvin Cook, I'll ask the live chat here. Please, everybody in the chat, answer this for Cole Kelly. Cole Kelly is always out here with us. Would you rather have Dalvin Cook and Devontae Adams or Austin Eckler? Dalvin Cook and Devontae Adams or Austin Eckler? Please let me know. Now, let's go back to the other donation questions we were looking at. I think we were all caught up on the $20 dono. Says, BT says, should I trade Ramondre? Oh, no, we already answered that one. Okay. Our next question coming out from, I believe, sorry, okay, we are actually further on these questions than I thought. That's really good. Vanagan says, a 12-team PPR format, trade pinning. I send Derek Carr, Ramondre Stevenson, Khalil Herbert, Chris Olave for Kyler Murray, CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz. My other running back and receivers are Chase, Jefferson, St. Brown, Debo, Pierce, Kamara, Brian Robinson, yay or nay. Okay, so going from Carr to Kyler, massive upgrade. Going from Stevenson to CeeDee Lamb, upgrade. Going from Khalil Herbert to Dalton Schultz, upgrade. Yeah, let's do it. Stevenson looked great. The usage was phenomenal this week. I mean, if you were guaranteed that every week going forward, you would be very, very excited. But to be completely fair, it was the perfect game environment for him. I mean, the Patriots trailed the entire game. We know Stevenson's the pass catcher compared to Damian Harris. Adam says 12-team at PBR format. Running back, we have Henry, Wilson, Hubbard, Dillon. Receiver, we have Higgins, Waddle, Lamb, Amari, Sutton. What wide receiver do I target with a running back? If we're looking to go out there and trade for a wide receiver, I would love to trade for DeAndre Hopkins, as we've been trying to do for God knows how long now. I mean, but if we were looking to fix this team, and if anything, we actually need a running back. If you're telling me Jeff Wilson, I mean, A.J. Dillon's our running back too here. So if we were looking to trade for a running back, instead, I think the deal is going to be we give up Cortland Sutton. Trying to think of a running back that we could realistically get for Sutton. Can't say Kenneth Walker anymore. That ship has sailed. If we could go through and maybe move Sutton for someone like Miles Sanders, where you're just getting the guaranteed touches there at the running back position, where Sutton, you're never starting him as your wide receiver 5, and we really need running back here. I do like that. Now, Kobe coming out, thank you, says, another question, Mostert and Hopkins for Josh Jacobs. We have JT, Kamara, Diggs, Chase, Kirk, Deontay. Thanks as always. I'm 6-1 in my first fantasy season. A lot thanks to you. Thank you so much. You're 6-1 because of yourself, my friend. There are a lot of people that watch my same videos that you watch that are 1-6. But if we are looking at this, Raheem Mostert and DeAndre Hopkins for Josh Jacobs, I am conflicted because Josh Jacobs, my most drafted running back in fantasy. We have Hopkins on a lot of teams. Well, both of these are my guys. I mean, Jacobs not only my most drafted running back this year, but he's my most drafted player overall. In the over 700 underdog drafts we did this year, you were getting Jacobs in the 7th freaking round. Like, dear God, because everybody thought that they were so smart. But, I mean, yeah, I would do this. I mean, what's the floor ceiling combo on Josh Jacobs right now? Jacobs looks like you may be able to project him. I don't want to say as a top 5 running back, but pretty damn close. How many running backs would you rather have over Josh Jacobs at this point? Now, Lunatic Production says, full PPR had Javonte Brees and Mike Williams. Quarterback, we have Jones and Kirk. Running back, we have Pierce, Herbert, Eno, White. Receivers, we have Pittman, Jefferson, Olave, Williams, and McKenzie. Any trade suggestions? If we were looking to go ahead and do something here, I hate to say this. Hate to say this. If Khalil Herbert is our running back 2, I never recommend to tell anybody to trade away their best player and get a downgrade for depth. But if we lost Javonte Brees and Mike Williams, we kind of have to do it. Trade Justin Jefferson. Let's get back 2 players in return. Let's get back someone like Kenneth Walker. And then Chris Godwin. Like, if we can go trade Justin Jefferson for like Kenneth Walker, Jalen Waddle on a team that lost Javonte Brees and Williams, that would make sense. Now, David says, standard league traded Mahomes, Debo, and Bateman for Jefferson, Amari, and Devonta Smith. Okay, so going from Debo to Jefferson, massive upgrade. Bateman to Amari, massive upgrade. We have Jimmy G with CMC signing and have Watson stashed. AJ Brown, Henry, Ramondre as well. I like the trade if you're telling me we have Deshaun Watson in the long term and we have Jimmy Garoppolo to play right now, because I do think that Jimmy G actually may be startable going forward. I think Jimmy G may be startable. If you're looking at this situation where he has Debo, McCaffrey, Kittle, Ayuk, how many players are in a better situation? And serious question, how many quarterbacks have a better skill position group than that? Now, we have a couple more big-time donos coming out. Cole again says, is there any other moves you think I should look to make? Should I try to trade Dalvin and Gus for Jonathan Taylor? I would love that deal. That's the deal we're looking at. Great running back depth, but anything you think I should do to improve? Where do you rank Dalvin rest of season against the other big backs? Okay, that's going to be hard to pull up right now. I promise you, I will get you a rest of season running backs ranking video later this week. If we were looking to make a move with this team, I mean, I think that the Gus Edwards trade is a very appealing one. Here are the running backs that I would trade Dalvin Cook and Gus Edwards for. And the reason for this is, if you are looking at Gus Edwards, while he was great this past week, we know he is legitimately never going to be a pass catcher. Never in a million years going to catch a ball out of the backfield. The same time, he split the backfield into thirds. I think Lamar is going to have touchdowns going forward. I think Lamar steals some of those. So I like the idea of selling high on Gus Edwards. I would go ahead. I would sell them for Eckler, of course, as we've already discussed. I would sell Dalvin and Edwards and go and get possibly Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor. And then over in the NFC, we'd get Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, which I'd assume that the majority of those trades do end up getting rejected. But as we always say, if we give out 10 guys to go through and try to trade for, you don't need every single one to be accepted. We just need one owner somewhere willing to pull the trigger, I think there's the outside chance you can find one. Okay. But we have another massive dono coming out from Anthony. Thank you so much, my man, for supporting the channel. I do appreciate it. We've never had this many donations in a live stream. There's no way. Sup Mason, 6-1 in the 12-team PBR league. We have Mahomes at quarterback. Running back, we have Jonathan Taylor, Cordell Patterson, J.D. McKissick, Chuba Hubbard, J.K. Dobbins. Receiver, we have Tyreek, Keenan, Sutton, Mooney, Wandale. Tight end, we have Andrews and Frymuth. Very weak at running back too. Any suggestions? Okay. 6-1. This is not a spot where we just need to go and panic sell Cordell Patterson. I think we can hold Patterson for the long term here. When we have Andrews specifically at the tight end spot, while Andrews did put up a whopping 0 points this week, so it's not the best week to be saying this, I think that he is going to be someone that we're starting every week regardless, especially over Frymuth. But Frymuth is a good tight end where I think you could get some respectable value for Pat Frymuth. So what I would look to do is if we could go ahead and sell Frymuth with maybe another running back here. I mean, if that is Cordell Patterson, if that is Chuba Hubbard, whoever it may be, and go get a running back upgrade that way, that'd be exciting. I mean, I don't think you're going to get some elite level running back that has an extremely high ceiling. Of course, we can't expect that. But if we could just get back someone in return that's kind of in that middle tier, then I think that would be appealing. Like if we could go ahead and I don't know, maybe just move, say, Frymuth. I think the Miles Sanders example is the perfect one. I don't think you're going to be able to get Damian Pierce at this point when Damian Pierce has had all the hype around him where we know that there isn't that much hype around Sanders in particular. Okay. Now, real quick, we are 2 likes away from hitting 1,200 likes in the live stream. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the stream. It does help us out a ton. Okay. So now our next donation coming out from, I believe, Joe says, hey Mason, in a half PBR format, how do you feel about either Gus Edwards or James Robinson and Tyler Lockett for Chris Godwin? Running backs are Henry Jacobs. Receiver, we have Stephon Diggs, T. Higgins, Curtis Samuel, and Garrett Wilson. So I like the idea of packaging together Gus Edwards or James Robinson with a receiver to get the upgrade at that wide receiver position. I just think the issue is we're trading away Tyler Lockett here. I think that if you are looking at Lockett, he is going to be a player that we probably need to keep for the time being, and that you have the injury to DK Metcalf. Lockett was crushing before the Metcalf injury. I think he's going to be even more exciting now. So I like the deal. I like the thought process. I like the structure of the trade. We just specifically can't do it with Tyler Lockett. I see no reason to be trading away Lockett at this moment. Okay, so now we have another massive dono coming out from Corey. Thank you so much. We'll skip ahead of this and go right back to where we were. It says 4-3 so far in the 12-team PBR format. Lost Javonte, Brees, DK. Oh my gosh. Looking to trade Kamara, Pickens, and maybe Brian Robinson for ETN and Waddle. Hell yeah, I would do this. Debo's a question mark. Pierce, Latavius Murray, McLaurin, Frymuth, and Dalton. I would do this if we are looking at a team that loses Brees Hall, DK Metcalf, and Javonte. All of a sudden, we're at a spot where we definitely should be trying to move that top end stud like Alvin Kamara to get ETN and Jalen Waddle here. Phenomenal trade with Kamara. We had him as a buy low running back through the first month of the season. Every single video we were saying to go through and buy low on Alvin Kamara. But no, I think that if anything, maybe the Kamara value has gone a little bit too far. And that you are now looking at a player that wants to, a player that is going to have a situation get worse. You're going to have Jameis come back in. You're going to have Thomas come back in. You're going to have Jarvis come back in. So I do really like that trade. But now, next donation coming out from McKay says 10-team PBR format. Allen Pickens for Kyler and Mixon. Kyler Mixon and Goddard. Receiver, we have Wandale, Olave, Keenan. Running back, we have JT, Mixon, Pollard. Tight end, we have Njoku and Dallas Goedert. Honestly, I really like the trade, especially now that we have the David Njoku injury. Don't really see any other moves to make. We don't have too much depth. Great trade, great trade. Griffin says team is Burrow, Devontae Adams, Amari, Lockett, Judy, Jacoby, Jameson, JT, Brees, Brian Robinson, Chuba, Karen Williams, and Taysom Hill. What moves do we make with Brees Hall out? Honestly, what I would look to do is I'd look to try to package together Taysom Hill and Brian Robinson and get an upgrade at the running back spot. Taysom Hill has been phenomenal, but in reality, I think it's going to be equivalent to a waiver wire tight end going forward. You're going to get some random spike weeks, but it's going to be very difficult to know when those are coming. The primary issue with Taysom Hill is, as we discussed, he's had that massive spike with no Jameis, with no Thomas, with no Jarvis. I think the situation is going to get worse going forward. So if we could go get that upgrade at the running back position where Brian Robinson is in a very nasty situation, I would like that long term. And honestly, don't be afraid to throw in Karen Williams as a little sweetener there, because Karen Williams is a slow, small running back that has no upside. Angelic says take either of these trades, Etienne and Juju for Dalvin, or Etienne and Pat Frymuth for DeAndre Swift. Go get Etienne and Pat Frymuth for DeAndre Swift. Running back, we have James Conner, Michael Carter, Chuba Hubbard. Tight end, we have Andrews. Yeah, so I don't think we need another tight end when we have Mark Andrews on our roster, but Etienne and DeAndre Swift are literally identical to me at this point, so if we can pick up Frymuth for free and flip him in another deal for more, I would like that. Now, Caden coming out with a donation, thank you, says 5-2 in a 12-team app PBR format, double flex, where we have Mahomes, Etienne, Walker. We lost Brees Hall, Brian Robinson, Khalil Herbert. Receiver, we have Kupp, Hopkins, Godwin, London, Garrett Wilson, Kelsey, and then Tua for the Mahomes bye week. Any trades? No trades for now. Love the team. I just think, as you're already saying, you only have Tua Tagovailoa here for the bye. I think Tua is the perfect guy to pick up for the Mahomes bye this week, and that Tua is going to be going up against the Detroit Lions, so it should be a very good spot after the week. Let's go ahead. Let's try to package together Tua Tagovailoa and Brian Robinson for an upgrade at the running back spot and just roll with Mahomes and Kelsey rest of season. Marcus says, would you trade away Kenneth Walker to get Jalen Hurts? Probably not, but it does depend on your roster. Patrick coming out with the donation. Thank you. Says, bro, you're a legend. 2 questions. 1, I need to trade Godwin or Waddle for a running back. Any good candidates? 2, I know you're not a huge T fan, but I got a T for you. You'll love it. Can I hook you up? Yes. Shoot me an email. My man. And if we're going to be looking at moving Godwin or Waddle for a running back, I don't want to. I think both these wide receivers are undervalued according to, to be honest, I'm sorry. I don't even want to give you a recommendation to trade away Godwin or Waddle. Trade away a different receiver. Both these guys, in my opinion, are going to be criminally undervalued. If we could trade like Waddle for ETN, then sure. If we can get ETN, then let's do it. But I just don't think you're going to get fair value for these guys. Now, real quick, we had a couple more massive donos coming out. Thank you so much. Evan says, in a 10-team full PBR format, 2 receivers, 2 flex. We're 3 and 4. We have Kyler, Dalvin, Alvin Kamara, Singletary, Dobbins, Foreman, Jeff Wilson, Kenyon Drake. Receiver, we have Chase, Lamb, Sutton, Gallup, Garrett Wilson. Tight end, we have Frymuth and TJ Hawkinson. So if we were going to look to make a deal here, I think that Kamara would be an appealing guy to just see what kind of value we could get for. I know with Alvin Kamara, as we discussed, we had him on that buy low video, but I think his situation is actually going to get worse going forward. So I'd be interested to at least just kind of see what kind of value we could get with Alvin Kamara before that situation does get worse. Like if you could sell Alvin Kamara in a league that you have 2 flex spots and no wide receiver depth that we're excited about, like I'm not excited about Sutton, and we could go and get someone like Kenneth Walker and Jalen Waddle, go get Travis Etienne and Chris Godwin. I would really like that, especially when we lost Dobbins as well. We lost Jeff Wilson to go along with this. So we lost a little bit of depth. I think that's going to be the move. We're going to look to go through and move Alvin Kamara for 2 pieces that we really like and just drop Jeff Wilson. Wilson's not worth a roster spot. Clint coming out with a massive dono. Thank you so much. My man says, need quick dynasty thoughts in a 16-team standard full PPR format. Pittman, Singletary, a future first in 2 seconds to get Andrews and Bateman. We have 3 future first: Olave, Breece Hall, Pickens, ETN. Rebuilding roster, playing for the 2023 draft. So if we're looking to trade away Rashad Bateman for Bateman for Pittman, that is going to be an upgrade. Okay, so I would say that if this was like a 10-team Superflex league, yes, let's go get the picks. However, we need to be a little bit more cautious with our league format when we're trading for these picks in a dynasty league. Whereas if we are going to be looking at said dynasty league, these second round picks are worth dramatically less. It is a 16-team format, so those second round picks are actually really like third rounders. And if you view it in that light, we're viewing those seconds as regular third rounders because it is that 16-team league. If we trade Mark Andrews for Michael Pittman, that's going to be a downgrade. We trade Rashad Bateman for the picks. It's going to be kind of a lateral move. Singletary is absolutely nothing in a rebuilding roster when he's not even signed to Buffalo next season. So in a dynasty format, I think we need to devalue those second round picks ever so slightly. Probably not make that move. But Matthew has tried to make about 10 donations here. I don't know if Matthew is just a massive fan of the channel. Thank you so much for the support, my friend. But if you have any questions, okay, I just found your question. Live chat says CMC for Ezekiel Elliott, Mostert, Amari Cooper, and Michael Thomas. CMC easily. 12-team app PBR format. We have Allen, Henry, Zeke, Hopkins, Cooper, Mostert, Waller, Lockett, Devonta Smith, Hunter Renfrow, and J.K. Dobbins. Yeah, so when we have a lot of depth here, I would like to go through and trade for Christian McCaffrey. We've talked about the idea of buying Ezekiel Elliott low over the past few weeks, knowing that the fantasy football community got a little bit too far with going through and just completely giving up on the man. I think if we're looking at Mostert, he has a cap ceiling in Miami. Looking at Amari, I do like the long-term upside when Watson comes in, but Christian McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey. CMC is CMC. I think we make that play. Raheel coming out again. Thank you. Says, building up my last question on that keeper league, which offers better? Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Deontay for CMC, Amari, J-Rob. And keep in mind, everyone, this is a keeper format, but you only keep 3 players, and I think you could only keep them for 2 years. So our takeaway in this format in particular, instead of treating it like a keeper league, like a dynasty league, I want to treat it like a redraft league. I want to treat it like it's just redraft, or trade Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker for Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry. Oh yeah, we're going to go trade Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker for Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry. Let's go trade Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker for Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry. In a dynasty format, I would never do this. In a keeper league where maybe you kept 8 players every single season, then probably not. However, in that keeper league where you only keep 3 guys, treat it like it's a redraft league. You were showing us that you had elite level players like Jamar Chase on the roster and Saquon Barkley on the roster that we're going to be wanting to keep regardless. Like, I'll probably rather have Jamar Chase over Breece Hall next season. So yeah, let's make that play. And Brandon coming out with our next donation. Thank you. Says trade Judy and Isaiah Pacheco for Christian Kirk. I mean, if it's a shallow format, sure. B says 5-2 in a double flex 10 PBR format. Would you trade Hopkins and Swift for ETN and Evans? I think Swift and ETN are pretty much identical. Give me Hopkins over Evans. We already have Chase, Hollywood, Jefferson, and Aaron Jones. Yeah, give me DeAndre Hopkins there. Now, Stephon says get offered Robinson and Eno for Cordell Patterson and Drake London. Well, I'd rather have Cordell Patterson over Eno Benjamin the rest of the season. I'd rather have Brian Robinson over London. I think it is a very fair deal, and it's up to you. I think it is a very fair deal, and it's up to you. Jordan says 2 and 5, 10 team. Would you trade either Lenny or Dameon Pierce for Waddle or maybe even ETN? I would 100% in a full PBR format trade Dameon Pierce for Travis Etienne. Other running backs I have are Saquon, Henderson, Carter. Receivers, we have Jefferson, Keenan, Gabe Davis, Sutton, and maybe Jerry Jeudy off of the waiver wire. Okay, so what I want everybody to do is please go to the live chat right now. Everybody go to the live chat. Would you rather have Travis Etienne or Dameon Pierce rest of season. Full PPR format, Travis Etienne or Dameon Pierce. I think we would rather have both these guys over Leonard Fournette. I think we're all going to be in agreement in that. I want to figure out these two players, though. Cody says, all I have to say is I love you and go Ramondre. Thank you so much, Cody, for being a member of the flock. I truly do appreciate you. Ramondre, great day today, but if I am going to be fair, it was the perfect, I don't want to say matchup. It was the perfect game environment where they were trailing the entire time, and obviously he is the pass catcher. Yeah, it looks like everybody's saying Etienne over Dameon Pierce. Yeah, I mean, you know I have way more Etienne than Dameon Pierce. I mean, I got Dameon Pierce way wrong this year. Now, Joe Mama says, lost by 5 points with James Robinson and Mark Andrews in the lineup. At least my boy James Robinson is free. Keep up the grind, brother. Thank you so much, my friend. I mean, brutal by losing by 5 with Mark Andrews giving you that 0. Don't get too excited about James Robinson, though. Please don't get too excited about James Robinson. Jeffrey says, should I trade Lamar? Ooh, I'm sorry. We lost this question. Let me pull this back up. And really quick, as I pull this back up, if you have not done so yet, go down there, drop a like on the live stream. Helps us out a ton. We are about to hit 1,300 likes on the stream. You know, we live stream every single day. I've not missed a day of live streaming in well over 100 days. Not going to miss a single day of live streaming until the end of the season either. This is my entire life. Please go down there, spend 1 second, drop a like on the stream. Okay. So now Jeffrey says, should I trade Lamar, Andrews, Thomas to gain Herbert, Goddard, and Evans? Okay, so going from Andrews to Goddard, massive downgrade. Lamar to Herbert, lateral move. We get Evans. Honestly, no. I would rather have Lamar and Andrews. I know they have been very disappointing. I think this will be a better offense going forward, though. Now, Bradley says, you've been huge for me this season, Mason. Took your advice and got CD traded away Stevenson after this week. What do you think? Love it. Like I said, Stevenson does have a very impressive performance against Chicago, but it was a very interesting game. Trailer Park Boys says, Hurts, AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, JT, Kamara, Kelsey, Keenan, Etienne, Kirk, Patterson. Thoughts on how to improve? Thoughts on JT rest of season without Matty Ice? Hell, I think Sam is an upgrade. Welcome aboard, my friend. If we are going to be looking at anything to improve, I don't want to say Kamara is someone that we have to sell. I just want to put him on the block and see what value we could get. Like I said, when you eventually get Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, Jameis Winston back in, it is going to be a dramatically different situation for Alvin Kamara. I think if you are going to be competing with all those receivers and also Taysom Hill is going to be occasionally vulturing rushing touchdowns at the goal line, is a little scary. It's going to be a little scary here. But now our next donation coming out from Sonny. We already answered that one. Hayden says, 12-team PBR format where we're 3-4, where we have Kyler, Linney, Kamara, Jefferson, Chase, Hopkins, Aiden Hurst, and Tom Brady. Should I trade Kyler for Aaron Jones or any other recommendations? If this is a 1 QB format, yes, I would be fine going through and trading away Kyler Murray for Aaron Jones on a roster where we have Tom Brady. If it's a super flex format, hell to the no. Hell to the no. Now, Ethan says, what should I do with Leonard Fournette? What wide receiver could I get? Right now, you're going to have to hold Leonard Fournette. You're not going to get anything very similar to what we said with Aaron Jones a week ago. Don't mind selling Leonard Fournette when we are getting Rachaad White more and more involved in this offense. And obviously, there seem to be fundamental issues with this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. But you're going to have to wait a week and have to hopefully recoup some of this value going up against the Ravens on Thursday. Now, Replo says, Ramondre and Kenneth Walker still must starts in week 8 despite everything on the waiver wire. Hell yes, Ramondre and Kenneth Walker are way better than anything on the waiver wire. Ramondre is not in the same category as Kenneth Walker, though. I think Kenneth Walker is significantly better than Ramondre Stevenson. Now, Derek says, Derek, I'm sorry, caught myself on this one. If y'all don't know, Derek's been with us in the live stream every single day. And he's told us multiple times throughout the entire year that it is Derek, not D. Herrick, because who the hell is pronounced D. Herrick? Derek out here says Mahomes, Henry, Stevenson, Evans, Pittman, Everett, Lamb. And then on the bench, we have Dalvin, Dillon, Zeke, Judy, Devonta Smith, Garrett Wilson. 4 and 3. How to improve my roster after taking an L. Who can I package and target? If we were looking to sell someone, I think that you will eventually have Ezekiel Elliott as a sell high candidate. I don't want to sell Zeke right now. I mean, we were talking about him buying him low a few weeks back. But as we've discussed, I mean, I think with Ezekiel Elliott here, he crushes the Chicago Bears most likely this week as well. And then at that point, we're going to look to go ahead. We're probably going to be looking to trade Ezekiel Elliott with Ramondre Stevenson and get that long-term upgrade at running back, where this team is one of the very few teams that we've seen so far today that has a ton of depth. Now, Steven says, 8-team full PPR format. Who's the better pickup, Mostert or Michael Carter? We're going to go Mostert. Also, how worried should I be about Uncle Lenny? Great show. Thank you so much. Should be pretty worried about Leonard Fournette. Can't trade him right now. Nobody's going to give you anything for him. You're just kind of going to have to sit on your hands here and wait until you hopefully have a better week this week, and then we can reevaluate. Jordan says, with Njoku out and Pitts being bad, what should we do at tight end? Who can I drop of the two? Dolchus is on waivers. Should I trade Pierce or Lenny for Zach Ertz? Not doing that. 2 and 5. I don't know if I can still risk starting Kyle Pitts. I owe you a massive apology. I personally owe you a massive apology, my man. Not only did I probably give you the advice to draft Kyle Pitts before the season, but I wrongfully did not tell you to trade away Kyle Pitts at a loss early on. We should have cut ties. We should have taken our L. Every smart person imaginable clearly saw that. They clearly knew it, and they did it. However, I'm an idiot, so we did it. We thought that Kyle Pitts would be able to turn it around, and it has not happened. Not only have I given you that bad advice, but at the same time, I told you to start Kyle Pitts over David Njoku. Week 7, after 6 weeks of looking at Kyle Pitts, I still told you to start Kyle Pitts over David Njoku. So I personally owe you a massive apology. I am very sorry for that, my man. Do not trade Pierce or Leonard Fournette for Zach Ertz. If you want to go pick up Greg Dolchus off the waiver wire, that's the move to make. That's going to be the move to make. Okay. Now, Carlos coming out of the dono. Thank you, says 12-team full PPR format. Lost Brees, what do I need to do? Quarterback, we have Jalen Hurts. Wide receiver, we have Sutton, A.J. Brown, Allen Lazard. Tight end, we have Zach Ertz, as well as Dalton Schultz. Running back, we have Dalvin Swift, Brian Robinson, Montgomery, Nick Chubb. Okay, my friend, you are loaded up with running backs here. What's funny is you lost Brees Hall, and the running back position's just fine. I would argue we need an upgrade at wide receiver. I think if you have both Dalton Schultz and Zach Ertz, and now you have Dalton Schultz back fully healthy, what I'm probably going to be looking to do is I'm probably going to be looking to go ahead and try to trade Zach Ertz in a package with Cortland Sutton and get an upgrade at wide receiver. Go get someone I love. Go get A.J. Brown. I'm sorry. You already have A.J. Brown. Go get Jalen Waddle. Go get DeAndre Hopkins. I think that makes a lot of sense. Derek says, trading away Pittman Smith for Hopkins. Is that a good deal? Yes. Now, Double R Sam says, hope you're having a good evening. Been playing Jamal Williams since Swift's injured and been disappointed. Is there a waiver wire running back that'd be better if Swift is out again? Thanks. I would be willing to go pick up Gus Edwards, but in reality, no, I would not say that there's a waiver wire running back that we would start over Jamal Williams if you had no DeAndre Swift this week. I know that he's been disappointing. It's been an overall offensive issue in Detroit, but it's because they have absolutely no playmakers here. They need to get these guys back like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I still think we would play him. It was a horrible matchup against Dallas. Okay. Now, Clint says 16-team standard dynasty format. We have Pittman, Singletary, a future first and second. Okay, we already answered this from Clint. Now, Afis says 8-team league, 4 and 3, where we have Mahomes, Henry, Dalvin, Pittman, Waddle, Kirk, St. Brown, Andrews, Walker, Hall, Pierce, Ertz, trading Cook, Pierce, Kirk, Ertz for Devontae Adams and Alvin Kamara. So going from Dalvin to Kamara, called a lateral move. 8-team league, getting Devontae Adams, getting the best player of the deal. Yes, let's do it. 8-team league where we want the 2 best players. Let's do it. If it was a 12-team, 14-team format, it would be a little bit of a different story. Carl says that was not Nick Chubb. It was Drew Bobbert. Honestly, even if it wasn't Nick Chubb, Same difference. We're still going to look to trade that tight end and Cortland Sutton to get that wide receiver upgrade. I think you're fine at running back, my friend. Now, Hyper Aggressive says, lost Brees Hall. We have Jalen Hurts, Walker, Swift, Waddle, Godwin, Gabriel, Davis, Kelsey, Dobbins, Connor, Hunt, and Pitts. Full PPR and 7-0, 10-team league. What moves should we look to make? If we're looking to make a trade here, I would be interested to see what we could get with Gabriel Davis. If we could trade him for T. Higgins, trade him for Jalen Waddle, trade him, you already have Waddle, trade him for DeAndre Hopkins, what we've been saying for nonstop now. I know you're tired of it. I would really like that. I think you're fine even losing Brees Hall, and we have Kenneth Walker and DeAndre Swift. We're going to be sitting pretty at running back. I would love to say to sell Kyle Pitts in a package, get an upgrade somewhere else when we have Travis Kelce, but in reality, you're just not going to get anything for him. I think it's a great team. I think you sit on your hands. Obviously, there's a reason you're 7-0, my man. Okay. Now, our next donation, we have a massive one coming out from the Fiji Pani. Thank you for everything. Says, what's up, Mason? Happy Monday, brother. Would you do Ramondre, J-Rob, and McLaurin for Saquon? Yes. I'm thinking of sending this trade over, and if I do, hopefully he accepts. He may accept because, I mean, I have seen a decent amount of people in the chat hyped up about James Robinson, and in reality, I mean, I don't think you should be. I think it definitely matters from a fantasy football perspective to look at this trade. Massive implications for guys like, I mean, James Robinson himself, Travis Etienne, as well as Michael Carter, but it's not like he turned into a must-start player. Ramondre looked good today, but it was the best game environment you could have asked for him. McLaurin has such a cap ceiling. You're going to be getting back Sean Dotson soon. I really like it, my friend. I really do like it.